Okay, here's another one. We got two purple belts. We got Randy here on top, and we got Nate on bottom. So this should be pretty interesting. I kind of started about 30 seconds. This recording started 30 seconds after they started rolling. But both very good, very technical. Purple belts in general will always be have a very well-rounded game. So I'm just going to start and see what happens. Randy's already going to pressure passing here to a body lock. He's trying to free the knee and using his left leg to pin the bottom leg, Nate's bottom leg. So I do like what Randy's doing here. He's climbing high to get connection with the chest, with the upper body, while still controlling the lower body. The whole issue with body lock passing, specifically this type of body lock passing, is at some point, Randy's going to have to make a transition completely from the hips to a cross face of some sort to get control of the upper body. Therein lies the problem typically with body lock passing. There's a ton of technique you can do that can make that transition a little easier. But somebody who's really good at frames and understanding inside position, as long as they monitor that and they understand that transition needs to happen, the timing is going to be very important here. So let's see what happens. Okay, so right there, you see Nate's starting to get inside position. He's got a frame right here. Randy's still committed to the hips. Okay, so now Nate's committing to this short pin. He must still have a hat. Yeah, so see, if you look at his foot back here, he still has his half guard. So this is actually a pretty good position, because he can start to pry Randy's arm away if he really commits to that and tries to overcommit Randy. Now he switches to butterfly. So Nate's got a butterfly position. He has two double unders. Very good. Randy's actually happy playing this kind of wet blanket top game. Once as a purple belt, you start to really have a very good understanding of position, meaning you start to understand exactly where you're safe and where you're not in each position. So in other words, this means that you can kind of play around with things and give a little more than what you would normally give, or not have to react to certain things as much as, say, like a blue or a white belt would. You can just kind of play around a little bit because you know the threshold. And once you understand that in those positions, you can kind of start baiting things. You can kind of give things away so that you can actually gain position. So we see some of this here, because Randy does this a lot. I know Randy's game pretty well, and he's actually very good at this. So it looks like Nate is actually attacking the leg. It appears that his right hand's probably scooping Randy's leg. This is good. If Nate can get his butt up to the ceiling here and start to either go fully over or grab Randy's leg here and swim his hips back under, he can actually start to go into a leg entanglement, a leg lock. The issue is that Randy's pretty wise to this position. I know Randy knows this position well. And Nate's gonna have to watch out for this free leg here. I would like to see this leg a little more hidden, a little more below his butt here. But that's part of the game with attacking that position. And so right out the bat, see, as soon as that foot is in front of your face, the person's going to grab a toe hold if they're leg lock savvy. Now, there's two reasons for this. One is Randy could pull off a submission here, but usually what it's used for is to get the other person to react and to stop attacking. Essentially, they have to stop what they're doing and address the immediate submission, because this is an immediate submission. Nate doesn't have a submission on Randy yet. He's just trying to gain a leg entanglement. But Randy's going straight for a toe hold. Now, if Nate doesn't let go of this, he could potentially get his foot into a solid, right there. So because Nate did not move from this position, he has nowhere to go, so he's stuck. So this will be a toe hold. You can see Randy put the toe to the butt, and it's done. So, excuse me. What should have happened there is Nate probably should have let go of that position and probably try to do a 360 and spin through. Okay, so Randy starts going in for just a basic pass here. Okay, so Nate throws a guillotine on, gets an underhook. I like that he threw this leg over here, like with this going into a triangle position. Always remember to look at submissions and combinations, meaning whenever you have a guillotine, you have a triangle. Okay, whenever you have a triangle, you have a guillotine. Whenever you have a triangle, you have an armbar and an omoplata. Whenever you have an omoplata, you have a triangle and an armbar, and so on and so on and so on. You can keep going. That's Barata platas, Doriga platas, Kimuras. You can go into all these, but they all chain together. And so when you start to group them together like that, you can. It's not just you trying to finish a guillotine. You have a whole arsenal of weapons and submissions you can throw at the person. So this is one of those cases. You throw in a guillotine. Randy went to go put his hand to the inside to pull the hand off, and in doing that, Nate threw the leg over, and so this gives him the opportunity to do a triangle. Okay, so so now we're in soft lock here. Let's say where he just kind of has legs crossed. Nate actually decides to switch, and it appears he's probably going to go for an omoplata. Yes. And Randy is actually kind of playing possum here. He's allowing, quote unquote, he's kind of allowing this position to happen, but he's allowing it to happen fully aware of kind of what the defense is and what he can actually do to counter the position. The interesting thing about this position, when somebody throws an omoplata, is that you can already see Randy starting to step over. If Randy gets that step over, he's going to end up on top with actually maybe even a cradle type position. So essentially, what's happening is Randy's kind of like feeding himself technically into this submission or position that should be bad for him, but he's doing it on his time, on his terms. So that he can, and since he's doing it on his time, then he can actually time it correctly to what he's doing right there. So if he feeds the arm and Nate goes to the omoplata, Randy's already ahead of him, stepping over. And so this is a good example of using kind of giving something to gain something. I mean, if somebody did this to me and they gave me the arm, I'd probably go right to an omoplata. So this is strategy, and this is typically what purple belts and even higher belts will do. They'll bait you with things to take something so that they can gain something. And it doesn't mean Randy's out of the hot water here, because Nathan is actually he's also a purple belt. So Randy could mess up here and actually get caught. And Nate's doing a really good job here with his hand here, trying to block the step over. We're just kind of hanging out here, limp arming out. And, Nate understands that the position's been lost. Randy's weight just kind of, on top of him here. So Nate's doing a good job trying to get to an entanglement, trying to get into a leg entanglement. And Randy's doing what we typically do when we go into these float passes, even though he's facing the opposite direction. He's putting his knees to his chest and kind of staying in this, the legs retracted. And Randy also plays donkey guard, so, but this isn't a donkey guard position technically. Nate would have to actually get up. Just kind of float. There we go. And so as Randy's turning around, he goes into attack his own leg. And now he's got the cut through, and we got the reap. He attacked the heel, got heel exposure, not yet. So Nathan's doing a good job here, hiding the heel, which he should be. He's got his hands here on the leg, trying to press him down. Now trying to do a counter leg lock. Nate's going in and trying to produce a counter leg lock. Randy switches to the other side, the leg to the other side, because it was on the inside position here, just a standard honey hole position. Now he's switching it to the outside to do an outside heel hook into a type of sambo knot position. He switched back to so he did a couple things here. He actually switched the leg from the outside back to the inside, and now he's trying to throw his inside leg over. And what this will produce is a 50-50 position. Once Randy gets to the 50-50 position, they're locked in together. And then Randy can really start digging the hill. But as you can see here in this bit of a leg entanglement, that Nate here is actually, I like this where his foot is placed right here, because he can actually extend Randy's legs away. Okay, essentially keeping his legs open and allowing Nate to pummel his legs to the inside. Always remember that when you start to get into leg entanglements, pummeling legs is extremely important. Okay, so typically it is whoever has the inside position is usually has somewhat control of the position, whether it be escaping or whether it be attacking. So Randy's trying to keep a good bite, but as you can see here, the knee line is lost. And Nate did a really good job here, putting his foot there to kick him away, freeing his knee line, hands on the other foot, and both hands are on the feet, keeping the legs open. So excellent job from Nate here trying to counter the position. Randy attacks the other leg, going for like a slicer type position, and very good. Nate turns the corner and goes back to try to attack Randy's leg. He's trying to get this leg over to the other side to get into a type of knee bar position, switching it most likely to a honey hole position. But before he can do that, Randy, as you can see, gable grips the leg. So there's a bit of a battle here. They're both somewhat equally. There we go. Okay, so now Randy got the better of the exchange, and now he has a reaped position. So we're going to be looking at a type of somewhat double outside ashi position right now, but it looks like it's pretty soon it's going to be into a sambo knot position if Randy keeps his Nate's foot on the outside here. As long as Randy keeps his right leg reaping over Nate's hip and he pulls this foot over to this corner, he's going to be in a reaped position with the leg on the outside. So we call this a sambo knot position. But I think it happened because, as you can see, Nate still has Randy's leg. So this is going to be difficult for Randy to actually finish this position with the extended leg that. Not impossible. So the issue here now is that, Nate has good control of Randy's leg, but he has no threat that he can actually produce yet. Okay. And Randy's actually going for attacks here on the actual foot. So we're looking at a cross ankle lock. And this ankle lock he could pull this off because actually Randy's very good at ankle lock. So it's one of the things he does very, very well. And so he could actually finish this. But, Nate's really going to have to play a little bit of catch up here because he basically has excellent position by controlling Randy's leg, but there's no submission threat. Whereas Randy actually has a submission threat here. It's a tap. So this is actually really good because it shows how, the game with legs, how it can really go either way. If you got two guys that are skilled at leg locks, they're both skilled at leg locks. So, but you can see how it can go either way based off some very simple principles, right? So, okay, so this is cool. So Nate goes right for an Ari. Okay. He missed the full turn, but now got the full turn. Randy's trying to go for the back, but spins over to get on top. So that's very good. And Nate followed here. So Nate's doing a good job. He's got better leg position. Legs are wrapped around. See which way he decides to fall. So he decides to go to honey hole. He's going to honey hole, but the issue here is that Randy's foot is bent here, and Randy's trying to climb on top. So not the end of the world for Nate here because he's doing a good job with this right arm framing out. He's framing that his Randy's arm away so that to avoid the crossface. If Randy were to actually get this crossface, it's over. I mean, he can sprawl and he'll be able to free his leg. But if he keeps that crossface away, Nate can actually spin back through to keep this honey hole position. But he's gonna have to get up on that left shoulder. Okay, he's starting to get up on that left shoulder. And Randy's doing a good job. He actually got a hold of the hand. He's pressing that hand down. He's getting control of the hip now. And so now the hip, now that Randy has control of the hip, is going to be very difficult. There goes the crossface. So this position is essentially lost. He needs to let go of that leg and start to re-pummel to the inside position. Randy's very tight here. Very good connection. Notice his chest connection. And that cross face and this body lock. I mean, there's no space here. And once there's no space, you can easily transfer to mount. This is one thing to always remember. If you can produce something like what Randy has here, and even your legs can be entangled in any kind of way, like the person can put you in a half guard or whatever it may be. If you establish that chest-to-chest connection with the crossface and a body lock, you can free your legs later. So, so this is the beauty of, that type of connection. The longer Randy keeps that pressure down, he's going to free that leg. And Nate's doing a really good job not allowing the knee to slide through, pinning it, and he's shrimping back the other way. Still has half guard. Cool. So he's shrimped back the other way, and now he's established a half guard. He's got a hand in the inside position. He scooped the leg again, and he's going over. Again, he's got to watch out for this foot. This is dangerous again. I'd like to see this foot tucked under here. Okay, it's tucked under his butt here. Now, it seems weird, but you can actually tuck the foot here a little bit better. But I do like that he's spinning over for this leg. What he should do, since Randy did a toe hold last time, is once he gets that scoop and he gets up, he needs to swing back over to this direction to steal Randy's hips. Okay, so that's what he did. Nice. Now he's climbing back on top. But he has to be very careful. Look, Randy. Notice how Randy's very calm here because Randy understands this position. I mean, in order for Nate to produce anything, he has to get Randy's leg out from underneath him. Number one, if Randy just keeps his weight down and based here, it's gonna be very difficult. Especially since his hips are wide open. Randy's left hand can start to grab hips. Randy's got a hold of the arm, so that's why there's no panic right here with Randy in this right there. He can get the hold of the hips, and now it's going to be difficult to finish that position. Randy, he does extend his leg here. I suspect Randy's doing this gain something. So I like this. So Nate actually switched to a knee bar. He has a good job. He's keeping the foot between his head and the floor. That's how you want to have your knee bars in general. Biting the big toe or biting the toe with your head. Good grip around the Achilles. This is good. Got an extended leg. Got a decent figure four here. I'd like to see his heels crunch back to get it even tighter. I like to see those knees pinch, and I need that knee just a little more rotated. So I want this left hand here to be cupping that heel and pulling it up. So that way we can rotate that knee straight, and then hips through, and then he'll be able to produce it. Randy's like just kind of checking it out. So because the angle is not correct, notice Randy's knee here. If I can see his knee, this is not a threat. He needs that. Nate really needs to grab that heel with his left hand here and rotate it up so that he can rotate Randy's knee. Then he'll get a response. See, this is no good. It's just on the side. Randy's knee is actually facing up. You can't produce a knee bar here. And as a matter of fact, Nate needs to be very careful because he's going to get his back taken. Okay, so Randy opts not to attack the back. He opts to just swing over and start to counterattack. Nate does a good job disengaging. Randy caught the second leg on the way around. We'll see which position he chooses. He'll roll through, so now he's in Ashigrami position. Nate decided to try to roll through. Randy switches to an outside heel hook. Randy's foot's here is outside. He's opting for the ankle lock again. Good. Excuse me. I just want to say something real quick about the ankle lock versus the heel hook. Ankle locks I always say like they're kind of making a comeback because, for a long time, and heel hooks still are. I mean, heel hooks are more dangerous than ankle locks for sure. It's a rotational versus straight submission. The ankle lock was somewhat unutilized over the past few years because I think people are starting to really realize the amount of control you can have and connection you can have just by grabbing an ankle lock. The issue is that you need to understand that when you grab an ankle of how to use it, because if you just focus on grabbing an ankle, the person can get on top of you and then it becomes, you lose position. It becomes a disaster. But if you can use the ankle lock as a form of control, a form of connection and a submission, this can become very problematic. The ankle lock, with heel hooks, it's a bit of an open position, so there's room to play around. You can kind of hide your heel if you're good at it. You can kick your leg straight. You can put some weight on it. All this stuff. With an ankle lock, none of that. There's not much play there because you're just basically you have your whole arm around the leg. So you can move in and out of positions while still holding the leg, and eventually you will finish the ankle lock based on your configuration of your legs and your hips. So, as a general rule, you can grab the ankle lock and you can first and then try to figure out your leg configuration, because it can be, there's a lot of different variations. There's butterfly, there's cross X, there's standard ashigarami position, there's double outside ashi. So there's all kinds of ways to finish an ankle lock, regular ankle lock or reverse ankle lock. But the ankle lock grip itself is something to really be studied and learned. And very difficult to escape an ankle lock. That's somebody who's good at it. Somebody who's good at it's very difficult. Okay, I like this. He's going for an Nari again. Randy stops it by grabbing a foot. He's got to watch his back. So again, whenever you're attacking, always remember, when you attack legs, you're exposing your back. So you need to make sure that you monitor your back exposure. Good. He monitors back exposure good there. He switched real quick. Again, Randy gets that top connection, get the cross face, got the body lock. Now he's getting to the top. But Nate did a good job of regaining the inside position. Got butterflies. Randy play around a float here. Randy giving him that right leg, trying to give him a stiff leg. I do like this. Nate reaped the leg and was able to drop Randy this way. Again, he has an underhook on this leg. I like this grip that he keeps doing on the leg, but again, this produces no threat, right? So he needs to start to produce a threat here. It was a good sweep, but immediately from here, he needs to start attacking that leg. Because, you can already see Randy's already thinking about, okay, how can I attack this leg over here? Or how can I grab his heel here and start attacking this leg? Look, right off the bat, Randy grabs this leg. And notice Randy keeps his leg dead center right here with his foot flexed with Nate here. Nate needs to get that foot on the left side or even the right side. And he needs to get one of that big toe or that little toe. He needs to get it in his armpit or an ankle lock, whichever one. So as long as Randy keeps his leg stiff here, straight, and keeps it center line, it's going to be difficult for Nate to catch up to what Randy's doing here. So Randy did a correct thing with a counter leg attack and grabbing the outside leg and trying to suck it in. So Nate's trying to defend that, and Randy goes to the reverse to peel that up. Got a reverse ankle lock, and let's be tight. So notice, I always say the heel hook rotational will always beat ankle lock. However, in this particular case, no. And the reason why is because you can see Randy's leg is straight and his knees pointed down. In order for Nate to finish this, he's really going to have to get his hips over top of Randy's leg. But he can't do that because Randy has his leg here. So this heel hook is not effective anymore. We'll see if Randy finishes that. Didn't. So both of those positions were not, very stable. You saw with Randy's ankle lock as well that, Nate's foot was kind of turned to the side a little bit. So that kind of stopped the ankle lock from happening as well. But the reverse ankle locks are really tight. Okay, Randy shoots back in, possibly looking for a slice from that leg. Turning it into a pass, but now Nate goes back to a full position, which is really good. He's doing really good moving his hips here, trying to get, produce some sort of angle, trying to get a triangle, armbar, something. Guard, switch to an armbar. Beautiful. Bang. That was a good hit movement. Randy just lifts, and this is a good strategy. Good. Step over. Switch into a lock again. Lost it. And that was just a few seconds left, so they're probably playing around. So this is good. That was a very, very cool roll. That was nice to break down. Both did a really good job. That was a good study on leg locks, and especially leg lock counters and guard recovery. So both these guys did really good, and I'll probably try to film them again in the future. That was a good roll. And so anyways, I'll have some more rolls next week, and we'll keep it going. All right. Thanks.